Hi there, thanks for joining us. My name's Megan Power and I am a Learning and Development Advisor at McCallum Disability Services. And this evening our guest presenter will be Alicia Vaccaro, who is our People and Culture Advisor. Thank you for joining us this evening, making the time to join us for this Disability Support Work Information Session, the first one we've done on Facebook Live. Before we begin, I'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which we're holding this session today, the Wadawurrung people, and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. And I extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people joining us this evening. One of the things you'll notice during this evening's presentation, which is obviously talking about a career in disability and a career specifically at McCallum, is we've got these gorgeous photos on the side of the screen there of some of our actual staff. So there's little staff profiles we'll be talking about as we go through. And the lovely lady we see here on the left is Dana, who's based up at our St Arnaud site. And Dana was fantastic during COVID lockdown. She ensured that St Arnaud services kept on going via our online teleconnect or COCO service for those participants. So she does a great job for us at St Arnaud. So our agenda for this evening, we're going to talk a little bit about what it's like to work in disability, and I'm very excited to say we've got a couple of great people to tell you about that in the form of Tanya and Vicky. And we're also going to talk a little bit about what makes a great support worker, why you might want to work at McCallum and how to apply for work with us. Now, we've already received some questions prior to this evening's session, which we're going to aim to cover off this evening. But if you have any questions or comments at all during the event today, feel free to pop those in the comments underneath there. But to get us started, maybe click an emoji or two to let us know how you're all feeling right now. Oh, sorry, I don't know what I've done there. I'll get rid of that. I'm going to be doubling down. Okay, so thanks for that. I'll also just, before handing over to Alicia, introduce the young man in this photo as James. James is one of our house supervisors. He started with us over 8 years ago as a casual, working in lifestyle options. He then spent 3 years working in accommodation and last year was promoted to house supervisor. So he's a really great McCallum career success story. What we're going to do now, though, is find out a little bit more about what it is like to work in disability and also work for McCallum by chatting to Vicky Coleman and Tanya Van Gils. So Vicky Coleman has worked for us for 2 years as a disability support worker, but she worked for 14 years as a cleaner at the Ballarat Specialist School, and she's also got a sister who lives in McCallum supported accommodation. So Vicky has a very good understanding of the importance of quality disability support. Tanya Van Gils works for us in McCallum Industries, which is one of our programs, and she lives independently in one of our McCallum units. So she's going to tell us a little bit about what she likes being supported by McCallum. So I'll just get the ladies to join us in the session. Okay, hi ladies.
Hi.
Lovely to see you both. So I've just introduced you both and said that you're fantastic role models and examples of what McCallum's all about. I'd love to ask you, Vicky, what does a typical shift working with Tanya or one of your customers look like?
So a typical shift with Tanya would be in the morning, making sure she's up and ready for work, had her meds. We will book a taxi to and from work. In the evening, we assist and support her with her meals and preparing. We prepare lunch for the next day for work.
And we play games.
We do. We play games in the evening.
And sometimes we go for walks, depends how cold it is.
Yeah, we'll go for a walk if it's not cold. We'll also, what else? Community access, take her out in the community, movies, or up to the lake, or out for lunch.
And sometimes we do jigsaws.
Yeah. We also do groceries.
Yeah, that's another thing we do,
Menu planning, shopping lists.
Yes.
So that's a typical day for you, isn't it?
And cleaning the bedroom as well, she helped me tonight.
Yep.
Lovely. And so what do you love about the work that you do, Vicky?
I think I love, and my reward is knowing that these guys get to live as independently as possible. So I go home and just a smile, like have a look at that smile, like
I
that's
know.
a reward. So just getting one of them from them guys is.
Well, we're coming to you now, Tanya. I'd like to find out, how does McCallum support you? Like, what does Vicky do to support you?
She helps me, like Vicky always said, with my meals and helps me clean if I need cleaning, and gets me ready for work, and gets me off to do different things like activities, and with Vicky together.
And what work do you do for Industries, Tanya? You were working today up at Industries in Sturt Street. What were you doing today?
We're doing damper.
And what's that?
What's damper?
It's sort of a round, like a round thing. You tap and then smooth them.
Mm-hmm.
And I do that with Rob and Darren.
Cool. And what do you like about working up at Industries?
You get to meet new faces each week, and you learn to lose, and you get to lose weight as well while you're working.
That's good, right? Working hard. That's what happens. You guys do work hard up there.
It's fun.
And what do you think makes Vicky a good support worker? What do you love about Vicky?
She's fun to be around. She's really, really kind, generous, and if I'm down in the dumps, I'll talk to Vicky about if I need to talk or emotionally than Vicky.
You do.
What else do I?
Oh, I don't know. What else do you think? Do you think I'm caring?
You're special, yes.
Oh, special.
And
She's got great hair too.
We also play Uno together as a game.
Oh, she's a card shark, this one.
Love it, Tanya. I'm going to ask Vicky a question now. You've heard obviously from Tanya what she loves about the support you give her. What qualities do you think make a great support worker, Vicky?
Probably empathy. You must have empathy to work in this job, and compassion.
Yes.
Patience, because some tasks may take a little bit longer than the usual.
Yeah.
Practicality. Caring, of course. You've got to be reliable.
Yeah, she really cares about me, and I love Vicky for it. She's a good support worker, this one.
Yeah.
I couldn't do without her.
And just commitment to the rights of these guys to live dignified lives, really.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I love Vicky for what she's been doing for me, helping me and paying my teas for me and helping with my lunches. And
I promise I didn't word her up before this.
No, that's one thing you didn't do.
Well, I really thank you, ladies, for making the time to join us tonight. I know it's been a long day for you, especially Tanya, having worked a full day out at Industries this afternoon. So thanks very much for joining us.
And could I also say hello to Mum and Andy and my family?
Of course you can.
Please.
Don't give them away.
Hi, everyone. Everyone on Facebook too. Oh.
Well, you know, this will be recorded. It's being recorded, so we'll put it up on the Facebook page so they'll be able to watch it again as well, Tanya, which will be lovely.
Okay, thank you. Especially Thea as well.
All right, ladies. Well, look, Vicky, I'm going to let you to have the fun job of trying to sign or hang up while Alicia will go back across to the slideshow. Thanks again, ladies.
Okay, bye, everyone.
On Facebook.
Bye.
So I'd love to hear from you guys what you think make a great support worker, and feel free to type your thoughts in the comments. While you're doing that, I should point out that this young man on the left here is Matt, who works in accommodation for McCallum. His mum also works for us, actually. And before coming to McCallum, he worked as a painter for many years. So I guess the lesson there is that regardless of what life experience you've had previously, if you have the right qualities and you are interested in working in disability, it can be a really great career change to make. So if you're just joining us, my name's Megan and this is Alicia, and we're from McCallum Disability Services. We're talking about what it's like to work in disability and particularly working at McCallum. So to sum up the qualities that both Tanya and Vicky were talking about, we're obviously looking for people with empathy, so the ability to put yourself in another person's shoes. Initiative, as Vicky said, sometimes things don't go the way you quite planned, so you've got to be able to think on your feet. Reliability is really important. You can see from Tanya and Vicky how close they are, but also how much Tanya relies on Vicky to understand her needs and be there to provide her support when she needs it. That obviously then requires you to be pretty organised, and as Vicky talked about, being patient as well, and a really good communicator. Tanya talked about how Vicky is often there, great to listen to her when she's not feeling so good and helps cheer her up. So that listening is a really important part of the role. So one more thing before I pass over to Alicia. Another profile here on the right, which I'm hoping you can all see, is Sin, and Sin is one of our Community Connections Day Program supervisors. She's been with us for over 10 years and, like a lot of our team, played a vital role in providing welfare checks to our customers during last year's lockdowns, and was also instrumental in helping set up Teleconnect and Coco. And Sin has fantastic energy and great relationships with all her participants, and we're fortunate have been based in the same building as the day programs guys, and we get to see the fun they have there with us each day. So Alicia, what do you think about these qualities?
Yeah, absolutely. They're great qualities to have, and as Vicky and Tanya pointed out, this is really what we are looking for when we're recruiting support workers. And just as a little tip for everybody, familiarise yourself with this list, because you may pop up again when you're looking to submit an application for a McCallum.
Well, I'm going to disappear off the screen for a while, Alicia, and hand over to you to carry on.
Awesome, thanks, Megan. So we just thought our next bit, we thought we'd dive into a little bit about who we are at McCallum. So we do have a little bit of a timeline up on the screen, which hopefully you can get a bit of a look through, but I will just do a quick run through as well. So McCallum, we've been around since 1953, and we were founded by this gentleman here on our right, so Mr. Austin McCallum. So he was the former president of the Y Men's Club, and he established the first supported play centre for children with disability. So even though we've actually moved through to now we provide services for adults only, we did actually start out by providing services to children. So another key date for us is that in 1982, our day centre opened at our current site in Alfreton, which is sort of our main site in Ballarat, with our administration offices there on Learmont Street. We did become known as, I guess how we're known today, McCallum Disability Services in 1997, when we merged with Central Highlands Regional Residents Association and the Central Highlands Independent Living. Another key date to mention is 2012, when we merged with Murdoch Community Services in St Arnaud. So we now do provide services across both Ballarat and St Arnaud. Now, I will also, before moving on, just like to introduce the gentleman to my left, and some of you might have seen Bruce's picture. We've been using him for a few of it for the event page, and there's also on the video on our Facebook page as well. So Bruce is part of our Lifestyle Options team, and he's worked with us for over 5 years. And in the video, you'll see that he was supporting one of our customers, Les, at the men's shed and also at the gym. So I guess why does McCallum exist? Why are we here? So our purpose is to work with people to create a life that works for them. So we really do put the customer at the forefront of everything that we're doing. So as support workers, we're not looking at doing things for somebody. We're actually about supporting people to do what they want to do for themselves. And it is really all around their choice and control. Before moving on, we will also just point out that we've got Saffron here in this picture, who works in our Community Connections Day program. and also has done some work in our accommodation houses during lockdowns. And Soph's worked for us for 3 years. We next come through to our guiding values. So we've already had a look at what qualities make for a really great support worker. And at McCallum, we have our own values that are really important to us. And when we are recruiting, we're looking for people that do share these values. Now, these values were actually co-designed with our workforce, as we did want them to be more than just nice words on a page. We really wanted people to live them in their life and day to day at McCallum. So again, just in case you can't read them quite clearly, so we've got integrity. We do what is right. Collaboration. We succeed by working together. Accountability. We are responsible for our decisions and actions. Respect. We value everyone's unique contribution. And equity. We enable and empower each other. So if you think that these values sound like you, then you're going to fit really in really well with us at McCallum. And we'll just highlight one of our support workers working out at St Arnaud, Yvette. So she's been with us for 5 years, and she does work across both the day programs and the lifestyle options program in St Arnaud. So what do we actually do at McCallum? Well, we've got a little brief snapshot of some of our programs up on the screen, and in the next few slides, we're going to go into a little bit more detail about some of these different areas. But we do currently provide services to 450 people across Ballarat and St Arnaud. So the first program we're going to talk about is our accommodation program. So this is a really key program to us at McCallum. We've actually got 8 houses and one due to open very shortly later this year in Lucas. And we have 2 more planned for next year due to that growing demand for accommodation. So we do actually have a couple of images of our houses. So our top image is from our units out in Sebastopol, and the bottom image is actually from one of our most recent house in Lucas as well. So accommodation is really important because it is really our residents' homes, and we try and make it feel like that for the guys that live with us. So it does mean that because, I guess this is where they're living, we do provide 24/7 care. So this does mean that there is a need for someone to be sleeping over on shift, and we'll get into that in a little bit more detail later. But as you can imagine, due to just, sort of the general day-to-day needs, we do tend to provide more of our support in the morning when people are getting ready to go to work, like Tanya to McCallum Industries or to the day programs, and also at the end of the day, getting dinner and getting ready for bed, etc. We'll next move through to Community Connections. So Community Connections is our day service, and basically covers off on all of our lifestyle and leisure programs. And we've got 2 gentlemen from our day service program. So we've got Connor up the top doing some gardening, and we've got one of our barista extraordinaires, Donald, who works at the Connect Cafe, which is located on Learmont Street, which is a great service. So the day centre really covers a wide range of different things. So we've got an art program, we do music, obviously, and we're teaching skills like the gardening and cooking as well. Now, the Community Connections program runs Monday to Friday from 8:30 to 3:30. And now we've already heard a little bit about the Lifestyle Options program, thanks to Tanya and Vicky. But the Lifestyle Options program is basically where we provide one-to-one supports to people who are looking to remain independent. So we're providing support in their own home. And we do things like help them with the housework, meal preparation, and help them get ready for work in the morning. And we also help them access the community. So as Vicky said, this might involve taking them out to a movie, might be helping them do their grocery shopping, might be taking them to appointments or doing those fun outings as well. So the Lifestyle Options program, it's a 7-day-a-week program running from 7:15 in the morning to about 10 o'clock at night. and we currently have about 80 customers using this service. And then we've got our next up is employment. So again, we've heard a little bit about our McCallum Industries, which is where Tanya has been working. But here are some of the other programs that they run. So we do have the car wash, and we also have got gardening, and we've also got a commercial laundry, McCallum Linen, which does supply linen to accommodation in the Ballarat and Goldfields region. And we've got some of our supported workers, employees that work out there as well. So some of the other things that they do up at Industries include small parts assembly and packaging, the bag or rag, and they also have a school leavers employment support. Fantastic.
So thanks for that, Alicia. So if you're just joining us, thank you. We're Megan and Alicia from McCallum Disability Services, and we're talking about what it's like to work in disability. And at McCallum, and Alicia's just taken us through what programs McCallum have on offer. And now she's actually going to tell us a little bit about what it's like to talk at McCallum, what it's like to work at McCallum. Thanks, Alicia.
Awesome, thanks, Megan. So we thought rather than just, us telling you all the wonderful things, let's hear a little bit directly from our staff. So we're actually going to share some of the results from, we conducted an engagement survey of all staff members earlier this year, and we asked them how they find working at McCallum. And we were extremely pleased to report that 92% of people said that they would recommend McCallum as a great place to work, which is fantastic. And 94% of people are really proud to work for us. We do then had 90% of staff saying working at McCallum allows them to make a positive difference. And Vicky gave us a really great example about how, working for McCallum makes a difference for her and obviously in the lives of our customers. And we've got 93% of our staff that say that they have access to the learning and development that they need to do their job well. So we will unpack that a little bit more as we go through the slides. But overall, our survey results exceeded both the Australian and not-for-profit sector averages by more than 12%, which is a really wonderful result. So let's talk through some of the benefits of working at McCallum. So first off, if you do live in Ballarat, obviously it's a bonus because we're locally based, and it really does, especially if you have been commuting to Melbourne for work, it's much more convenient just only having to travel in the local area. We are a small organisation in that we still have maintained that community feel and we know each other, but we're also big enough to offer a range of job opportunities, as you've seen from the different programs that we do offer, and have a wide variety of working hours available as well. We're also growing, which means that we do have more work and promotions available. And we've very wisely picked James for our slide here, who's a great example of that, as we mentioned, starting out as a casual and has worked his way up to the supervisor position in accommodation. So we definitely have a strong focus of promoting opportunities for our internal employees. We've also, as you can see, we've been around for 65 years. So that means that we are here to stay and which means job security for you. And we do provide the regular training. So this does include e-learning, which means basically no matter what hours you work, that you're not going to miss out on those key learning and development opportunities, which is particularly handy for our casual workforce. And as a not-for-profit, we do offer salary packaging for our full-time and part-time employees as well. Right, so we've now heard about some of the benefits. Let's look at some of the expectations that we would have for our support workers. So one of the key things that you possibly have seen crop up before in terms of support work is personal care. So in our context, this would sort of mean that you might be required to help someone get ready in the morning, including getting dressed and having a shower. But it does also mean helping people go to the toilet as well. Availability. As you can see, we really do provide support across a wide range of hours. So we really do need people that are available to work all of those different hours, particularly any of the programs running on the weekend. We really do need that availability at least one weekend a fortnight. As we mentioned, it is a requirement that people do at least one sleepover a fortnight in the accommodation program. So to give you a bit of an idea, a sleepover would just mean where you would actually sleep over at the house. And it's really just so that someone's there in case the residents do need anything throughout the night. So most of the time, it's likely that you would be able to sleep. And obviously there will be times where you will need to get up to provide that support. We also have a zero tolerance approach to abuse and neglect, and this is a really critical thing it's a really big focus for McCallum. So we do provide a lot of training around this particular topic. And a lot of this has got to do with, there is a Royal Commission into Violence, Abuse, Neglect and Exploitation of People with Disability. So yeah, we do really have, as I said, that's a really strong focus for us, and we will go through processes. We really encourage staff to speak up and of course, provide that training. We do also have a code of conduct. So McCallum has our own sort of set of guidelines, as well as the NDIS has a code of conduct, and our values that are going to guide your behaviour while you're working at McCallum as well. And of course, being support work, we really are providing emotional support. We're helping our customers communicate. We're supporting them in the community, and we're supporting them to learn new skills. So I think we're next going to talk through how to apply for work at McCallum.
Absolutely. So if you're just joining us, we're Megan and Alicia from McCallum Disability Services. We're talking about what it's like to work in disability, and we're now getting to the interesting part that quite a few people have been typing questions in about: how to apply for work at McCallum and what are the criteria. So we'll be putting links to some of these things in the comments as well. So I'll hand over to you, Alicia.
Yeah, great, thank you. So yeah, hopefully after hearing a little bit more about disability support work in general and about some of the programs that we offer at McCallum, you're now itching to apply to work with us. So we've got some of the, non-negotiable criteria here. So to be eligible to work with us, you need to be over 18 and need to have the right to work in Australia. We do have a couple of compliance things. So one of them is, as of February, all workers with an NDIS provider must have the NDIS worker screening check. Now, if you're already in the disability sector, there's a good chance that you've already applied for your check, which is fantastic. If you are looking to get into the disability sector for the first time, we will be providing you with more information about how to apply for that check a little bit later in the recruitment process. And of course, we will share some links about how you can get a bit more information about what that process entails. We do also have the NDIS New Worker Orientation e-learning that again is mandatory for anyone working for an NDIS provider. Now this e-learning, again, if you're just interested in learning a bit more about disability support, I would highly recommend that you do this training. It's 90 minutes, you can find it online, and again, we will share the link with you. And it provides a really great overview of what the NDIS is, and as well as really some key principles of disability support work. So again, if you're just considering, you're still not sure, it's a really great training course to do. And another requirement for us is that we do need our workers to have a current Australian driver's licence. A full driver's licence is preferable, particularly in our accommodation program where there is a requirement to drive the residents in some of our buses. But yeah, as I said, that's sort of, I guess, where that requirement comes from as well. So let's move on to some of the more desirable characteristics. Now, we did get a question earlier in the week around, do I need a Cert 4 in disability? And the truth is that it's not an essential criteria. However, it certainly is preferable. If you've got one, that's fantastic. And it doesn't have to just be the Cert 4 in disability. There's, the similar certificates in aged care, community services, and we actually do get quite a lot of people that are studying nursing as well. So anything in that sort of a similar field would be of benefit, including the Cert 3 in individual support that we've got up there as well. And it is desirable that you do come to us with a current first aid certificate as well. Great. So we'll move through now to some of our current vacancies. So we currently only have casual vacancies available in our accommodation and lifestyle options programs. We've obviously given you a bit of an overview about what those programs entail today, but I guess just another quick summary is the benefits are that both programs provide very flexible casual hours and across the span of the 7 days a week. So we do find that students in particular, if they're studying, again, someone that might be studying nursing, for example, can manage the work and uni commitments. And the same with really, as I said, it can be very much suited to your lifestyle around the hours. In terms of accommodation, the real key benefit is that you get to be part of a small and dedicated team. So if you are just new to the sector, it's a really great program to start in because you do almost always have another staff member around that you can bounce ideas off. But of course, as we said, the expectation is that you would have that availability at least one weekend a fortnight, and that you would be available for at least one sleepover a fortnight as well. But on the flip side, you've got your lifestyle options where you are working more independently. So if that's you prefer to work on your own, especially on that one-to-one, similar to Vicky and Tanya, then this would be the program for you. And we would just have that expectation again around that being available on the weekends as well. And while at the moment, these are sort of the two programs that we are recruiting for, we certainly do have opportunities pop up in our other programs from time to time. So we do just recommend keeping an eye on the McCallum careers page, and you'll see all of our available vacancies on that site. All right, well, if that all sounds really good, basically, if you are looking to apply, jump onto the McCallum website. We've got the site address just up on the screen. There is an application form that you'll need to complete where you'll need to submit your resume and any other relevant certificate. So if you think back to that criteria that we had around your qualifications, the NDIS worker orientation, that's really the place where you're going to upload all of that information. And then, of course, we're going to be posting more options, particularly on Facebook, so that you'll be alerted to anything that's up and coming.
Thanks, Alicia. Well, I've actually just put up our link to our current careers vacancies. So obviously our focus at the moment is recruiting in accommodation and lifestyle options. However, if you are interested more in day programs, you've got a burning desire to share your love of gardening or woodwork or physical fitness with some of our guys, then I've also put up a generic application form that you can fill in, and we'll obviously be in touch with you should some vacancies arise. The other thing I would say is tonight's been really much a focus on Ballarat, but we are obviously recruiting for St Arnaud as well, and we've actually got another session scheduled for them on 5 p.m. on Tuesday the 28th of July. So you can either join us there at St Arnaud at 1 Long Street, or you can join us online, Facebook Live as well. So please, if there's anyone, from that region that might be interested, please make sure you let them know. We've got the event set up on our McCallum page as well. Other than that, have you got anything more to add, Alicia?
I don't think so, but yes, certainly we look forward to receiving some applications. from everyone out there today.
Absolutely. Look, it's been great. We've had such a huge response, and we really want to thank everyone that's got online today and joined us. There's been some great queries. At the moment, we are not, there was a question here I just saw, sorry, about Cert 4 traineeships. At the moment, we are not offering those, but we certainly, happy to discuss student placements with you. The NDIS screening, good question. It can take, what's the current timing at the moment, Alicia?
Yeah, so it can take really anywhere from a day to 3 to 4 weeks. So
a lot of it just depends on what ID you have. You need 100 points of ID. So if you've got a current passport and driver's license, it's pretty quick. But if you don't, it can take a little bit longer if you need to apply for a birth certificate and so on. Helen, good question about studying your Cert 4 in disability. Absolutely, you don't have to have completed your Cert 4. The fact that you've made the commitment to start studying it, and we know you need to do a student placement, we are happy to interview anyone who's interested in doing a student placement with us. And if you're suitable, we will offer you casual employment, and that way you can get paid for doing your student placement as well. Holly, you've sent through your application. Fantastic. We will keep an eye out for it. That's excellent. Oliver asks, is there any sort of work positions for a 17-year-old? Look, as you've seen from Alicia, our requirement is to be 18 years of age or older, but certainly we encourage you to keep an eye on what's happening on McCallum. Perhaps you could start studying your Cert 4 if you're can do that as part of school, and then absolutely we'd love to see young enthusiastic people working with us at McCallum. But look, yeah, there you go. Someone's actually just said they only said about 15 minutes online if you've got the right ID, and that does seem to be the magic thing. So thank you so much for joining us, everybody. It's been really lovely to have so many people online, and we'll see you again hopefully on the 28th of July. But thanks for joining us. Thanks, Alicia.
Everyone.